What's the impact that Curt Schilling has had on the game of baseball? Transition. He's had an injury that might be career-ending now. He's a little bit older, and he's going to have surgery, I think, on his what was his rotator? What was his surgery on?
Yeah.
Just yesterday. We're filming this on a Tuesday. He had surgery on a Monday. Is he Hall of Fame? I mean, this is a guy who he wasn't a multiple Cy Young winner. He wasn't. I think he made three times made 20 wins in a season. But he had a great postseason record and great postseason numbers. He's got 3 World Series rings. Mike, is this guy going to the Hall of Fame?
Well, let me give you some numbers on Schilling that I think are interesting. Career winning percentage 596, better than Steve Carlton, better than Bob Gibson.
Wow.
Career ERA 3.46, which is about a run a game less than the league average during his career. His ERA is better than the league average during his career by a greater margin than Gibson, Seaver, Carlton, Koufax.
Wow, that's impressive. No.
And postseason, 10-2 with a 2.23 ERA and 130. This is a key number here. 133 innings. Baseball has changed a little bit in the recent era with the wild card, with 3 rounds of playoffs, now with one out of every 4 teams makes the playoffs in the major leagues now. So we have to think a little differently, I think, about the game in terms of the relationship between the regular season and the playoffs. And maybe players need to be judged a little bit more on their postseason performance than they have been in the past. And by that criteria, I don't think there's any question that Curt Schilling is a Hall of Famer. So
often we will judge somebody for coming up short in the postseason or not coming up in the clutch. They have great regular season, but when they really need to do it for the championship, we talk about the Charles Barkleys, the Patrick Ewings that don't have the rings and so forth, or I'm trying to think in baseball.
A-Rod, Barry Bonds, people say.
Okay.
But basketball and baseball are so different.
But I'm just looking at guys that maybe didn't come up as much, and they didn't. Here's a guy that when the spotlight was clearly on him, he came up and shined the most for his team. He had 4 complete games in the postseason, 2 shutouts. I mean, that's impressive.
And again, I want to go to that 133 innings. It's a big enough body of work that it isn't a fluke. Sometimes people talking about baseball get ridiculously carried away with judging guys based on 20 at-bats or judging guys based on 4 or 5 starts for a pitcher. But this guy's got an extensive body of work in the postseason. Remember how he pitched for the Phillies in the 93 Phillies, which was relatively early in his career. Again, I think the way we have to think about players in this era has changed a little bit, A, because of the offensive standards of the era, and B, because of this expanded, it's more of a playoff sport than it used to be. And I think both of those things, if you look at them in context, I think really are in Schilling's favor.
You look back to '93 when he was playing in the postseason for the Phillies. Impressive what he did. Terry Mulholland was the ace on that staff. Schilling really came on and kept the streak going in that series. I mean, he just became a different pitcher during that Braves series. I think it was a game in Atlanta, actually, when he first came on.
He seemed to have almost like a football-like ability to get psyched and fired up for huge games.
He had some huge games against the Blue Jays in that World Series as well. And it became a different Curt Schilling. The following season, he carried that over. He became the ace of the Phillies, but that metamorphosis started during that postseason. And the confidence was there, and he carried over with the Diamondbacks with the World Series, and then 2 of them with the Red Sox.
And at the very end of his career, for most of his career, he was a guy who threw 95 miles an hour and threw strikes. Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty simple way to go about pitching. But the power pitcher, who was also a control pitcher, he would have to be considered, I think, one of the top 10 of all time in that sort of specific criteria, in addition to the other things that he's got going for him.